She wore a crown of gold and ruled with a fist of iron hidden beneath silk gloves. Her name was Isabella of Castile. To the world, she was a devout queen, the pious woman who unified Spain and sponsored Columbus's voyage to the New World. But behind the curtain of Catholic virtue, Isabella did something far more sinister. She didn't just tolerate the Spanish Inquisition. She birthed it, nurtured it, weaponized it. And in doing so, she turned suspicion into doctrine, fear into law, and faith into fire. This isn't just a story of a queen. It's a story of how a woman revered as a saint became the quiet architect of one of the darkest, bloodiest campaigns of religious terror in history. Stay with us to the end, because what you're about to hear will challenge everything you thought you knew about power, faith, and the price of unity. Isabella of Castile was born into chaos, a royal civil war, a fractured Spain, a throne tainted by betrayal. She wasn't born to be queen. In fact, she wasn't even supposed to matter. But fate, or perhaps something darker, had other plans. When her half-brother, King Henry IV, died in 1474, Isabella seized the crown of Castile. She wasn't yet 25. She married Ferdinand of Aragon, creating a political alliance that would transform Spain from a splintered realm into a Catholic superpower. But this was no fairy tale union. This was a strategy. Together, they would rule as one, or so the history books say. But behind the gilded portraits and cathedral walls, Isabella was carving her own legacy, one that would be etched not in stone, but in smoke and screams. The throne was just the beginning. The real conquest was of the soul. And to purify a soul, first you must burn the heretic. It started with a letter, a request to the Pope in Rome. In 1478, Isabella and Ferdinand received papal permission to establish their own religious tribunal. Its official goal? To identify false converts among the Jewish and Muslim populations who had secretly reverted to their old faiths. But make no mistake, this wasn't about faith. It was about control. Spain was a volatile mixture of Christians, Jews, and Muslims. The monarchy feared disloyalty, especially from those who had only recently been forced to convert. But Isabella wanted more than loyalty. She wanted purification. She wanted order. And she was willing to turn the entire nation into a furnace to achieve it. Enter the Spanish Inquisition, a tribunal that reported not to the church, but to the crown, to her. It was no longer a matter of church discipline. It was state-sanctioned terror. And Isabella? She didn't just sign the papers. She watched the flames. The first Grand Inquisitor, Tomás de Torquemada, was a Dominican friar handpicked by the crown, a man whose fanaticism rivaled even the darkest zealots. But it was Isabella who empowered him. The Inquisition grew like wildfire, with secret trials, torture chambers, and autos de fe, ritual public burnings where victims confessed under duress before being consumed by flames. And it wasn't just Jews or Muslims anymore. Soon, women were being accused of witchcraft. Herbs found in a kitchen, a miscarriage, a strange dream. That was enough. Some historians argue that Spain's witch trials were fewer than Germany or Scotland, and that's true. But it misses the point, because where others hunted witches in chaos, Isabella's court did it with purpose. Every accusation was a message, every execution a warning, not to the guilty, but to the silent. And if you're enjoying this story so far, now would be the perfect time to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell. We're just getting started, and trust me, the darkest part is still to come. Publicly, Isabella was the image of Christian virtue. She fasted, prayed, funded churches. She even had a confessor at her side. To the people, she was almost saintly. But behind closed doors, her royal court operated like a medieval intelligence agency. Inquisitors relied on anonymous informants, children denouncing parents, neighbors turning on each other, confessions extracted through thumbscrews, racks, and starvation. Isabella knew this. She approved it. She believed fear would make people obedient. That terror was holy if wielded in God's name. And so she played both sides, the mother of the nation and the puppeteer behind its darkest machinery. That duality made her unstoppable, because you can only question a tyrant, you cannot question a saint. Imagine being a woman in 15th century Castile. You hear a knock at the door. You open it. It's not soldiers, it's inquisitors. You're taken, blindfolded, and shackled, not told why. They say you spoke to someone who was later burned, that you touched a child with a fever, that you cursed under your breath during Mass. They demand a confession. You refuse. Then comes the rack. Then come the screams. Eventually, your voice breaks, and in front of a crowd, you confess what you never did. The sentence? Death. Or, if you recant soon enough, imprisonment. But either way, your name is gone, your body forgotten, your story erased. And all of it happened because one woman believed she was saving your soul. Or perhaps because she didn't care about your soul at all. Isabella died in 1504, but the Inquisition she engineered lived on for centuries. Thousands more would suffer. More would burn. She was remembered by many as a saint. Some even pushed for her canonization. But not everyone agreed, because how do you canonize a woman who bathed her nation in fire? How do you call her holy when her holiness came at the cost of lives crushed under torture, exile, and flame? She gave Spain its crown, but she also gave it its scars. And though the cathedrals still stand, their shadows are darker than they appear. Power wears many faces. Sometimes it smiles from a golden throne, sometimes it kneels in prayer. But history remembers not the mask, but the consequence. Isabella of Castile wasn't just a queen. She was a storm cloaked in piety, a ruler who turned religion into a blade. And if there's one lesson her reign teaches us, it's this. The most dangerous monsters aren't the ones who revel in evil. They're the ones who believe they're doing good. So the next time you hear the word holy, remember this story, and remember who lit the first match. If this episode left you with chills, imagine what's coming next. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the stories that history tried to bury. And if you want more dark tales of power, betrayal, and shadows in the shape of crowns, watch the next video on your screen now. You won't believe what secrets it holds.